Alright, well, we are at Goodwill today. I'm super excited for this. We were here last week though, so I don't know how much new stuff we're going to see, but they're constantly restocking, so there's got to be some new goodies on the shelf. So we're going to head in and see what we can find that we can flip for a profit. So here we go. As soon as we walk in the door, I'm checking out this end cap and I spot this plate. This is your typical Martha and George Washington courting scene. And I don't know that maker, so I decided to leave it behind. And I boogied down this almost empty shelf and put on the brakes because I spot these here. These look to be cottage teapots that are made in England, but they are not. They have stickers on the bottom that said made in the Philippines. So I decided to leave those behind. Kind of looking through the Christmas stuff here, but not seeing much. And so I round the corner, and I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff I saw the last time. I spotted these back here. I liked the gold stem, but it appeared to be just painted on there, so I decided to pass on those. Back here, we've got this piece that looks like it could be crystal. The weight was just a little off on it, so I was a little conflicted and decided to leave it there. Here we've got some moonstone. It's a little nappy dish, and I decided to grab that. Thought that was an interesting little candlestick. Probably wasn't anything special, so I left it behind. I always like these things. They look vintage to me. I know they're not. It's a floral frog of some sort, but I think they're cool. We've got a made in China plate down there. The marking on the bottom was relatively modern, and so I left it behind. These I found interesting. They are cream soup cups, I do believe, and they had a marking on the bottom that Pope Gosser. I'd never seen that marking before, but I decided to pass on those because I have a lot of china in my inventory, and I don't really feel the need to collect more china at this point, unless it's exceptional. Like the Limoges. I will always pick up Limoges, especially when it's $2 a piece. And also this satin glass bowl with the reverse painting. And then we've got Noritake. What do we have here? There's something hiding back there, and I have to juggle to get it out very carefully, very carefully. Now, you might see it, maybe not. I didn't see it just in that instance, but that piece right there ended up having a chip on it, which is very disappointing. And I didn't spot it until I was unloading my stuff. And so that was kind of a bummer. Now, I do notice here on the Limoges plates that there is a chip on it, right there. Judging by the plate on the underside having a plate hanger, that's probably what caused the chipping. Those plate hangers have a tendency, I'm pointing out the plate hangers, they have a tendency to chip plates, especially on the edges, and the placement of the chips there, it was indicative of a plate hanger, so I decided to leave those behind. This was a bit odd looking. It kind of looked like this space toy, but I think it was a flashlight or something like that. I liked this because it had a bird on it. Starting your morning off right with birds. Down here, she looked fabulous. I loved the beauty mark. I thought that was a nice touch. It's marked on the bottom, either Atlantic or Holland mold, so it is a hobbyist piece. I decided to leave that one behind. Now, I had picked this up the last time I was here and I left it behind, but this time I decided that for $2, I was just going to take it with me. It does hang on the wall and it is nice. It's a pretty floral piece, and so I just decided, what the heck, I'll take it with me. Here we've got a little dish. We've got a little vintage compote here. Passed on that as well. I found this piece interesting. I liked the way the gold glass was wrapped around it. There was no sticker on it, so I ended up paying $1.99 for it, but I thought it was interesting and I liked it, and I thought it would look pretty with a little tea light in it, and so I decided to grab it. It's probably from Target or something. Over here we've got a ton of water goblets. I believe they're water goblets. I kind of liked the design on them, but they are a pain to ship, and I didn't think they were worth shipping. The little bunny was adorable, however, it has a sticker on the bottom that says Made in China, and so I decided I didn't need it. And back here, this was a very interesting piece. I just thought it was funky and weird. It is marked on the bottom, and unfortunately on the back side it is broken, but you know, I figure if you just turn it, it's a nice display piece. I have a lot of pieces like that personally, so I'm not opposed to it. Some people may be. But I just thought it was an interesting shape, and of course there's no sticker on this either. But I decide that I'm just going to ask them up at checkout, and I end up paying $1.99 for this piece as well. Now these two pieces, I feel like I've seen these before. They could be something modern. I don't know. I saw them and I'm like, I've seen those before, and something just told me to grab them. So I paid $2.99 each, and I have no idea what they are. This piece looked like crystal. I checked the bottom to see if there was any etching or any marks on the bottom. However, there was not. There was just a little sticker residue on the bottom that kind of, for a little brief instant, looked like it could be something, but it was not. Up here, this was interesting. It looks like somebody had spray painted it. I don't know why. Well, I had to fix this angel real quick. She was about to fall over. And then I spotted these up here. These are just little stocking hangers. They were $6.99 each, which I thought was a little bit high, but I was considering them for myself because I think the kids would really get a kick out of it. So they did have some scuffing, and I'm hoping a magic eraser will fix that, but I did end up grabbing these for myself and not for resale. This little dish here, it says Try Poppies, designed by Max Cars. I don't know who that is, but a lot of old hand-painted china has a tendency to have poppies on it. I think it's some sort of symbolism, and so I'm gravitating towards dishes with poppies on them for some reason. That appears to be a biscuit jar. Here we've got a glass pitcher. However, the gold is not in the glass. It almost looks like somebody did a light dusting of spray paint to make this look gold. I thought that was different, but not really my thing. Now, I don't usually look at frames, but this frame caught my eye. I love this frame. I think it's so neat. I like the little cabochons, and I think they're mostly fake. I think they're plastic, but I just really like the looks of it, and so I decided to grab that, and I'll probably end up holding on to that again for myself and maybe putting a family picture in it. You guys have seen my living room and my living room tour. It's very colorful, and I feel like that would just fit right in. We've got a basket here. It looked like it almost wanted to be a buttocks basket, but not quite. This right here was interesting. I couldn't tell if it was enamel or not. There was no markings on it anywhere. I flipped it over twice to make sure I didn't miss the markings. There was no markings, and I decided that because there was no markings, I would leave it behind. Now this was such a heartbreaker. Look at the head. Look at the tail. Oh my gosh. I almost had a meltdown right there in the middle of the aisle. I mean, I did kind of have a meltdown. This is me having a meltdown. You just can't hear it because the music is really loud and I'm doing a voiceover, but this was so tragic. This piece of Italian pottery is phenomenal, and I would have loved to find it in one piece without missing feathers, I guess you could say. Um, I almost put it back on the shelf and then it made it into my cart. You know, I have a lot of very creative viewers, and I feel like somebody out there can maybe create some feathers for it or somehow repurpose it, and I couldn't see it destroyed because it was just that amazing. So that's the end of my rant over the chicken. Here we've got a piece of glass. There was residue for a sticker on the bottom, and it just didn't really strike my fancy. Back here, I saw some moriage, I should say, but I didn't recognize the mark. I think it was a souvenir piece on there. I just love cluttered shelves. I don't know how many times I could say that in all of my videos, but like I live for cluttered shelves. This is my favorite. There's just so much to take in, and it's such a treasure hunt. Yes, I see him. Don't worry. I see him. He's right there. And I grab him because he's really cute. And he doesn't smell bad. I did the smell test. He goes in the cart. I liked this basket. I thought it was nice. Colorful. My kind of basket. This appears to be a made in Mexico piece for $3.99. This I found interesting. It kind of had this Royal Copley looking appearance, but there was no markings on it. I don't even know if it's Royal Copley, but just, I don't know, there was something about it that was like the glazing, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research. It could also be made in Japan, but there was no damage on it at all, and so I decided to grab it. I really like this. It actually had two little big light knobs on it, but there appeared to be something missing there in the center. It kind of reminded me of Cambridge glass. Some of their salt and pepper shakers actually have metal pieces that cradle them, and so that kind of is what that reminded me of, but it wasn't complete, and so I didn't take it with me. I see Rudolph. I missed him. Grabbed this vase, but it does have a very modern mark on it, and so it stays. Looks like somebody left their energy drink there on the shelf. They left it in the right section, though. I have to give them credit for that. Now here we've got an old piece of hand-painted china. The date on it is 1909, and it has cherries on it. Just a little dish. Very exciting. I checked these out to see if they're Delft. It's Blue Heritage, made in England. They're just made to look old. This here, I believe, said made in Japan. Yes, it did. These right here are Nippon, hand-painted Nippon. I thought they were nice, and I liked the dainty flowers around the border, and so for $1 a piece, I decided to grab those. Here we've got another plate, which I actually think I looked at the last time I was here and left behind. This one could be hand-painted in Japan. It could also be hand-painted in Nippon. I did not peel the sticker to look. I'm leaning towards Nippon. But then what is this? I couldn't have looked up any faster. We've got a beautiful Amberina rooster just sitting there on the shelf. Look at it. It's amazing. I think it could be Ellie Smith, but I actually haven't done any research on it yet. It reminds me of some Ellie Smith bookends, so I will have to double check on that. So the cart's getting a little scary. I know a lot of you are thinking it. I'll be the one to say it. It is looking a little scary there. Nothing was harmed in the making of this video, I will say that, except for the piece that was already broken at the bottom. Now this here, there was no markings on this, but it kind of reminded me of like a Charles Dickens type thing, and so I really liked it, and I decided to grab that figurine. Now I couldn't grab this faster. This is Wedgwood. It is phenomenal for $2.99, and there is nothing wrong with it. Nothing. I can't believe it was just sitting there. And the gentleman before me was like looking over the shelf so closely, and I waited for him to walk past it. He did. He lost dibs on it once he walked past it, and I just reached up and snatched it. So this piece right here is actually a piece of McCoy, and it is actually part of their Flora line, and they were specifically for florists to create arrangements and things like that. They're not super valuable, and so I don't always pick them up. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on my mood. And I decided to check over some of the other glassware while I'm here, just to make sure that there's no markings on it. Not seeing anything there. I thought that these could be Fiesta, but there are a lot of companies that do look-alike Fiesta, and so I decided to check the bottom, and sure enough, it is not Fiesta. Got some dolls here. Got an art pottery piece I thought was interesting, but ECG doesn't really strike me as being a famous potter. I mean, their work was okay. Those are plastic plates. And over here we've got a little Navajo wedding pot jug. I'm not sure, but it's like a little wedding vase. It's a wedding vase. And then here we've got some pottery that is chipped, and it doesn't come with me. It stays there. What do we have here? This is amazing and very mid-century, possibly Italian. There's a little chip on the edge, but it's okay. Look at that. Is that not stunning? I'm totally geeking out. I mean, if the chicken wasn't enough, now we've got two pieces of exceptional pottery. Have to check the little teapot. It is modern. a very angry Ninja Turtle. And here is some aluminum. Aluminium to my friends in the UK. Wait a second. Wait a second. What do we have here? It says Haeger on the bottom. Ah, look at how pretty it is. Oh my goodness. It's got a giant chip. A giant chip. But that's okay. It looks good from this side, right? I'm tempted to keep this for myself and just display it from the nice side because that blue is just stunning. It's this matte blue. It's like a robin egg blue. I love it. I love it. Made in China. This vase was interesting. I don't know what was going on here. It was clear, but this color was applied to it almost like dripped paint. And I was just kind of conflicted and trying to figure it out if it was just like some home project or if it was actually something nice. I don't know. I decided to abandon it and hope that my viewers weren't like, that's a so-and-so, it's worth $400, because that's like the one piece I left behind that I'm conflicted about. And we have a play phone there. Just kidding. I know it's not a play phone, it's a real phone. My kids would have a lot of fun with it though. We're moving really fast. Oh, this is when I spot the dragonware teapot. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that dragon is. The Moriagi is completely intact, and so is the spout. The spout's always broken. The spout wasn't broken on this one. And up here we've got an elephant with an interior sticker. And over here we've got little candlesticks. I think they said Avon. And that was a motorcycle. Pie plate. Grabbed this little plate to see if it was anything special. It said Donna White on the back. I don't know who Donna is. I liked your plate, but I didn't like the modern stickers on it. We've got another wedding vase. Two of them actually. A lot of these are sold in souvenir shops, and so I don't do a whole lot with Native American pottery, but Eric has been loading us up on it, so we've been selling a lot of it recently, but I'm not good with it at all, just for the record. Here we have a piece of Mexican pottery, but as you can see there was a chip on it, a crack I should say, there was a crack. And so I move on to the purses. And I'm a little overwhelmed by the purses because there are just so many of them. This looks like a fanny pack. It's a Vera Bradley fanny pack of some sort. I didn't even know they made those. I would totally rock it though. That looks vintagey. This pot I liked. I really liked it, but you can see all of the little cubes were starting to, they were really brittle and starting to come off. It was so disappointing because it was very interesting. I liked that one, and I didn't really want to leave it behind, but the damage was just too much on that. Not on the Haeger vase, though. There's never too much damage on it. Just kidding. That looks like a homemade trivet of some sort. New York souvenir plates. And then I'm checking out the lamps. I do like this lamp, but you know, of all the lamps I bought, they very rarely get listed. So I really got to list the lamps I have before I go buying any new lamps. I'm making that a point. So I'm going through the shelves again real quick. Obviously, you probably recognize that Poppy's piece, but there's just so much, and it's such a large concentration of stuff that I do miss stuff. And so I like to go back and make sure that I've seen everything. For instance, this sailboat mug. It reminds me of Otagiri, but I don't think it is the Otagiri design. And then I found this candle. We have parrots, and so we have to be very careful of the candles that we burn. And so I bought this candle. It smelled really good. I bought this candle thinking that it's a soy candle. I may be able to burn it with my parrots. I have to check first. But we have to be very careful with candles and birds. So I bought it. It smelled good. If anything else, I can burn it at the shop. And again, we're at the purses. This is the other side of the store. There's actually 2 sections for purses here at this store, so I usually check both. This is really the only one that interests me. It looked like snake skin. Kind of liked this, but not that much. Now I grabbed these. This is a whole bag of the black cat houses. I'm not even sure what exactly they're called, but I find them all the time. And usually they're marked at like $5 a piece, but in this case, it was $6 or $7 for the whole bag. And so I decided to grab it. I know some can sell for good money, but the majority of them usually sell for $5 to $10. So I took a chance on them. With that many of them, even if I sold them all for $5, I'm coming out ahead. This is an M mug. I don't even know why I picked that up. I just thought, oh, look, that has an M on it. I should see who makes it. Back here, I'm going for that bowl back there. I thought, you know, could that be Mackenzie Child? Because now, all of you have me looking for Mackenzie Child. You should be very proud. And so I push my cart to the checkout and see the dread fall upon their faces. Just kidding. They're all really nice at this Goodwill. They're all nice at all the Goodwills I go to. But my total spend here was a whopping $88.
All right, so that was a pretty good trip to the Goodwill. I'm super thrilled with everything that we got, and our total spend was only $89 after tax. $88. So I'm just like, I can't believe we did that well. We were just there last week. Usually it takes a little while to replenish the shelves, but that was just amazing. That was unreal. And so I'm at the next Goodwill. You guys are gonna have to wait for that till tomorrow. Later.
My family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook.